HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're just continuing with the halachot of Siman Resh Memchet. Based upon the halachot that we just mentioned yesterday, that within 3 days, you're not allowed to come and travel before the Shabbat, because obviously that means that you will ultimately be Mechalel Shabbat Chas v'Shalom. We spoke yesterday about Brit Milah Shelo Bizmana, which means what happens if you have a Brit Milah which was not in the proper time, which means that the child, for example, was sick and they weren't able to do it. You had to wait 7 days, Met Let, which means you have to wait 7 days until the child becomes better. And now it comes out on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So according to what we just mentioned yesterday, you're not supposed to do the Brit Milah. Today we're going to talk about surgeries. Are you allowed to do a surgery on a Wednesday, Thursday, or a Friday? So here the Halakha Brura just brings down, he says that according to what we just mentioned, that you're not allowed to come and travel 3 days before the Shabbat, because at the end of the day you might come to Chilul Shabbat. There are a lot of poskim that write that the exact same halakha would apply to a surgery, that you're not allowed to come and fix a date of a surgery, whether it's going to be on the first, especially for Thursday and Friday, and there's different reasons for it. Nevertheless, he does bring down as follows. He says, if right now you cannot push off the surgery after the Shabbat, for example, let's say the doctor only does surgeries every Thursday, or every Friday, or whatever it is, or he comes and he says it's going to be that they are suffering, so therefore, there's no problem. You could actually be mekel to do so. Obviously, we're not talking about a surgery which is very, very urgent, because that, if it's mamash pikuach nefesh, you have to do it on Shabbat itself. Obviously, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a surgery which is not that much. So here he quotes from Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, that he comes and he says, if it's not dachuf, so therefore obviously you're going to be mvatel the bitul of oneg Shabbat. He says, however, though, if the doctor is that's that day, so then it's also considered mutar, but it's like bimkom mitzvah, that we said for a mitzvah you are allowed to travel within the 3 days to do with the Shabbat. Or for example, if there's going to be ke'evim, which means that the chole is suffering, so therefore also you could actually be permitting it within the 3 days as well. So again, all these things are because of the tool of Oneg Shabbat, or because of the problem of Chilul Shabbat. And therefore he comes and he quotes others as well, saying that a person should be careful, obviously, when they're choosing a date for surgeries, and only under the conditions that we mentioned before can a person be lenient, as we already mentioned, whether it's because it's considered tzorch mitzvah, the person's suffering, the doctor does not agree to do it after the Shabbat, he's got a fixed day, this is the only day that he does it, and therefore that will be the times when you're going to be permitted to do it before the Shabbat.